name is Margot Wagner. I am a postdoctoral researcher at UC San Diego and the Salk Institute. Today I'm going to talk a bit at a kind of a high level on AI and healthcare trends and what the most recent innovations are. So investments in AI for medicine, it's the top applied area of investments for AI. These are the most recent figures from the Stanford AI Index report. You can see the top three categories are kind of supporting infrastructure for AI and AI-related tools, but the top applied area of financial investment is medical and healthcare, although we did see a drop from 2022 to 2023 from about $9 billion to $4 billion. And really the peak was in 2021. But that's just for now. So why is there kind of a drop off in this area? So the major challenges in medical AI, first is data availability. So in general, it's difficult to get this large, multimodal, clean, and publicly available medical data sets that we really need to make these AI products. But there has been some recent changes in that space. First, there's been an increase in the availability of large studies, for example, the Adolescent Brain Cognitive Development Study here at UCSD, as well as the advances in generative AI, providing a swath of synthetic training data. Here's an example from 2023 where they use synthetically generated MRI for training a segmentation task. And there's also been an increase in public data medical benchmarks like MedQA and MedAlign. MedQA was introduced in 2020, and since then there's been a 3 times improvement from about 38% to now 90% accuracy. The next is the area of trust, where public and clinical distrust of AI with such critical decision making. The recent advances in this is an increase in research in explainable AI, which seeks to make models and their outputs more interpretable, as well as ethical AI from a data model side as well as policy. And lastly, FDA approval, where we've seen the number of AI medical devices approved by the FDA has drastically increased from 2012, where in 2022 we had 139. Although of note, for medical specialties, it's highly skewed to radiology and imaging subtypes. So current state of the art, I highlighted a couple of really cool innovations in 2023. So we have Panda, which came out of China. This work looks at automatically detecting pancreatic cancer with detecting and classifying lesions with x-rays, and they were able to achieve an AUC of 0.99. GPT-4 Med Prompt came out of OpenAI, obviously, and this is an LLM trained for medical questioning using prompt engineering, and was able to obtain an accuracy of 90.2% on the MedQA, completely blowing last year out of the water by about a 22% increase. And then lastly, AlphaMistSense. This was from Google DeepMind, and it's built on top of AlphaFold for predicting pathogenicity of genetic mutations, and it was able to classify 89% as either benign or pathogenic. So I want to highlight kind of what the main areas of application are. So Panda had looked at preventative health and risk assessment, as well as diagnostics and precision medicine. And GPT-4 kind of looked to help with the more administration and care delivery side of things. And lastly, AlphaMistSense is looking at drug discovery and scientific discovery. And these are kind of the main areas for AI in medicine today. Next, what kind of data modalities are actually being looked at? So here I highlighted image and text, but that's not it. There's really many modalities that are being looked at for medical AI. There's imaging, like I talked about, as in this pancreatic as well as neuro case. There's text. You can also use it. So this is some recent work from 2023 where we look at text from psychotherapy, and we're actually able to identify it as symptomatic or non-symptomatic of various mental health disorders. Next, there's audio. You can use this also for mental health disorders or for cough and breathing. It's been used for COVID detection. There's video. So this example looks at healthy controls versus those with Parkinson's disorder, and they're able to find with pretty high accuracy, identify those with Parkinson's and follow the trajectory of those illnesses. There's also graph-based data. So this is some recent work from our lab looking at functional graphs and functional networks in the brain and being able to kind of associate those with various mental disorders as well. And lastly, there's time series data, where this is highlighting fMRI, but obviously there's various different forms. And this is in addition to tabular, structured, and categorical data that's kind of more expected. So what we're seeing is that medical AI is inherently multimodal, and increasingly so. So this research here is from Google, and it was released at NERVS 2023 towards generalist biomedical AI, and this kind of seems to be the trend, where instead of having a specific AI that's an image AI or a text AI, we're having one system that's actually able to be an expert in all of these things, and through more sophisticated methods than just kind of ensemble at the end, let's say. So how does this relate to neuromorphic computing? Well, there's numerous benefits of neuromorphic computing in the medical application space, but overall, neuromorphic is efficient, parallel, fault-tolerant, high bandwidth, and low latency, which is highly critical for both the software and hardware side of biomedical engineering. It's had various application and inspirations to and from medicine, from diagnostics to neural interfaces, as well as biosignal analysis, and neuromorphic tools. And lastly, it's also used as detection algorithms for diagnostic care. This is kind of just tying into the previous, where you can see that with various inputs from imaging to time series and otherwise, you can actually transform these into spike signals, which can then be analyzed using neural networks to various outputs in the form of tool development or diagnosis and rehab or neural interfaces. And this is just one of many applications of neuromorphic in this space. All that to say that I believe AI medicine is the next big wave, and neuromorphic will help us get there.